4 out of 8 is still pretty good, especially since nobody in college football has more than one during that time span. Mark Rogers TV talking Alabama football, of course, with Ben George from Tide 102.9. Ben, I know Monday night wasn't real fun. I'm sure you've broken it down a number of times with a number of people down there. We can break this down in a number of ways, but really want to get your feel on and your unique thoughts of, what went down Monday night and why.
Thought it was a great game, Mark, for starters. Another classic, really. Put it together with last year, and it's really been 2 incredible championship games. I think the first thing I credit Deshaun Watson on his performance. I mean, he got hit a number of times, took a lot of shots, was pressured throughout the night, but he seemed to actually get better throughout the game, which is a testament to how talented the kid is. And him and that receiving core, Mike Williams, Hunter Renfrow, who's I don't know how this guy is the thorn in Alabama's side, but he's found a way to be the last 2 seasons. But you know what? It takes a special group of offensive players to beat Alabama. I mean, I think that's kind of what we've seen under Nick Saban. I wouldn't say it was their best performance of the year. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't their best. But they're right there, and they have a chance to win it. And they basically come down to one play. And if they stop them, they win another national championship. They didn't, and they fall 1 second short. So overall, I think if Jalen Hurts had a so-so game, I don't think he got any better as the season went along, but still showed a lot of grit, especially on that last drive to bring him back and score there. I think most Alabama fans didn't think they'd even come down and score there. But the other positive is you got Bo Scarborough broke out finally in this postseason like many expected him to at the beginning of the year. And we saw flashes of what he can become if he stays healthy, and that's really the big if, because he's been battling injuries his whole career, fractured his leg in this game, which that might have been the difference in this one, Mark. There's a lot of things you can point back to and say, if this would have happened, if Alabama makes, converts 2 third downs over the course of the last 3 quarters, that's it. They convert 2 third downs, they probably win that game. Something as simple as that. But overall, it's just an exciting game to be a part of, to witness that drama. I mean, it's crazy to see the fourth quarter of these last 2 games. It's been something to watch and to witness.
Ben, your answers are typically a lot better than my questions, but I'll throw this one out there and I'll leave it wide open because you kind of hit on what are typically the 3 main storylines in the aftermath, and that's Jalen Hurts' performance, Bo Scarborough having a nice half plus and then getting hurt, and the running game not being in the same, and then the defense either not performing up to par, or as you say, against an elite offense, and also having to be on the field for 99 plays. So you can address any one of those things again, plus just anything else that you take away from this game that maybe not is as obvious to the rest of us.
Well, first the defense, I wouldn't put anything on the defense. I mean, they've faced 99 plays. Like I said, I mean, if Alabama can find a way to just convert a couple of third downs, keep them off the field for 2 or 3 extra minutes here and there, that would have made all the difference in the world because it would have taken off time and it would have kept the defense a little fresher. I mean, they did as much as they could do, and they were still fighting pretty hard at the end. I mean, this isn't about what Alabama did wrong. I think it's just more about what Clemson did right. They made the big throw and the big catch when they had to. Hunter Renfrow chased down Ryan Anderson when it looked like he had a touchdown on that fumble recovery. I mean, all the big plays, Clemson wanted it. I mean, and I think that's the biggest thing you look back on this game and you say, these guys, look, they earned it. I mean, you can't take away. I think Alabama might still be the better team overall, but on that night, there was no doubt that Clemson wanted it more, and they got after it, and credit them for that victory.
Yeah, it's not a 10-game series. It would be great to know in any of these matchups, okay, who wins 10 times and what are the scores, because that would be extremely interesting. But they get one shot, and whoever's the better team that night, and typically, even in football, being the ultimate team game, sometimes it's the best player on the field, and definitely the best player on the field had the ball in his hands more than anybody else. I can only imagine what the score would be. When you talk about better team, yeah, I can only imagine what the score would be if you traded quarterbacks. Might have been a 4-score difference, but that's for another day. And Jalen Hurts obviously, has had better performances and is not a polished passer, but he basically threw out there the type of performance that to a certain extent we would expect, because that's his level of development right now. He didn't lose the game. That's where he is right now as a quarterback.
Look, the reaction this week in Tuscaloosa has been a little bit on, hey, what's the deal with Jalen Hurts? Is he going to? Because here's the thing, Mark. There's a really good quarterback coming in, who's Elite 11 MVP from Hawaii, Tua Tagovailoa. He's a guy that a lot of people are high on, not just Alabama fans, but national scouts and recruiting analysts. And now a lot of the conversation is, will he push Jalen Hurts to start next season? He's in early. Tua is. He's on campus. He'll be practicing this spring with him, and we'll have that quarterback battle. A lot of people, I won't say a lot. Some people want to see Tua win that battle. Now, whatever. I mean, Jalen obviously has some work to do. Could be a little more accurate. Could make the shorter throws and intermediate throws a little bit more accurately. But he's a talented kid, and he's humble, and he's a coach's kid. He's a smart kid. And he's a competitor, and it's going to take a lot to knock him off, I believe. And I think he'll only grow from this. I mean, I don't think you can put it on his shoulders. There were some throws that he could have made, and just the offense in general wasn't a real home run threat later in that season, unless it was a Bo Scarborough running the ball. So, they got some improvements to make, but I don't think that you can write off Jalen Hurts at all. I think he's going to be in the Heisman conversation probably even next year, but it'll probably make him better and the guys behind him better moving forward.
And maybe it should give a little bit more appreciation to Jay Coker's performance last year, because obviously he didn't light the world on fire, but in that championship game he hit on huge plays, not a ton of plays, didn't complete a lot of passes, but I think 335 yards in the championship game. So he was a big factor. Obviously, having that steadying force and that stability at quarterback made a huge difference.